Well, I wasn't, and also facts that the younger generation need to know, so they don't walk my path, and also they don't get involved in this rubbish that I'm telling every week. The first guy I'm going to be talking about is a guy named Salem Taba. He's a young Muslim brother that I met in 2012. So Salem Taba has been in and out of juvie pretty much his whole life, pretty much as bad as I was, and then obviously he came to prison. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Boto. And what happened was, when I met Salem Taba, I was going off over a phone call at Lithgow prison, swearing and carrying on. And then Salem Taba banged up to the squad, and he was like, "Oi, why don't you just let him have his phone call?" And they're like, "Oh, it's nothing to do with you, Salem, just stay out of it." He was like, "Listen, give him his phone call, otherwise he's gonna deal with me and him." Appreciate you, Ali. The screws, they know that Salem Taba's, he runs amok. So pretty much what he did was, he rolled up his mattress. That's what we do when we go off. We make space, and then the boys who go over the top, they'll put soap on themselves, yeah? And when they put soap on themselves, it's like when the squad tackle them or try to hit them, because they always come in a group. Screws are not allowed to fight you one-on-one. I have seen a lot of one-on-ones in prisons with screws and inmates, but screws are not allowed to fight one-on-one. They could get suspended or even lose their job, but I've never heard of any of them losing their job. But suspension, 100%. So the soap being on your body, obviously, when you've got 6 screws trying to tackle you on the ground, it's going to be slippery. That's the reason for the soap, or you can use baby oil or whatever else that there is. There's a big story of a guy in the UK. He used to put feces, or if you guys don't know what feces is, like itch all over him, and the screws would be too scared to run in on him because he's got all that rubbish all over him. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. So when Salem Taba stepped back, I stepped back. I was ready to go. The squad ended up calling the bosses. The bosses came down and they were like, "All right, look, vaiusu, we're going to give you your phone call." Had my phone call. I was happy. Came back, and then I walked to the back and I was like, "Oh, buddy, who are you? What's your name?" And he was like, "My name's Salem Taba." And I said, "Hey, thanks for backing me up. You didn't have to do that." He goes, "No, it's all good, bro. I hate screws." So Salem is one of the guys inside prison. Man, James, love yous. He's one of the guys inside prison that always attacks officers, yeah, and he's known for blueprint. And he's not one to take a backward step. Every single inmate inside prison knows Salem for what he is, and there's not many guys who go on with it like Salem. A lot of boys have got big names, but not a lot of them have the balls like Salem, I can't really put him in a certain position of ranks or leadership because the guy just doesn't care. He was there's a young brother named Junior Tokatuki, Samoan kid from Mount Druitt. Him and Salem were pretty much the same. They just did not care. Yeah, they go on with it. That no matter who you are. But Junior's story will come later. Today, Salem Taba. After I met with Salem Taba, we ended up becoming close because he was younger than me, and we would always write letters to each other. And Salem, he's actually someone that I consider a special guy. Yeah. So he was in for Erdeme, yeah. What happened was someone answered the door, and then all of a sudden, and then the boys took off, and Salem and his co-offender got charged for it. And the reason why they got charged is because a family member of the co-offender handed in the act gay and that to the police, not knowing that it was involved in something the night before, yeah. And so Salem and the co-offender ended up coming to prison. They went to trial. And when they went to trial, Salem Taba, appreciate you guys. Salem Taba got found not guilty on murder, but guilty on manslaughter. But his co-offender, he got found guilty on murder. So obviously, he copped the whack. and Salim Taba, he got the lower end, and the big thing about this story is like, I'm not really gonna get into the story, but I know it inside out. But the Salim Taba's co-offender, actually, you know what? I can't say that because I don't want to get involved in it. But Salim Taba's co-offender inside court after they got found guilty for their charges. Remember, Salim's got the lower charge. He turned around and he hit Salim, yeah? And then Salim, he can fight. He could have turned around and retaliated, but he maintained composure because he didn't want to hit another Muslim brother, all right? And the reason why his co-offender hit him is he was saying, you were the one that shot him. Like, why did I get found guilty for murder? You were the one that shot him. And, like, he was going off, but it's too late. It doesn't matter what he says in court. Like, once the judge finds you guilty and sentences you, that's it. You can say all you want. The court is done and dusted. You know what I mean? Anyway, long story short, the years have gone by. Both boys are doing hard time, yeah? And then Salim ends up in Supermax, and now he's gotten away from all his gang stuff. But let me tell you something, to all you youngsters out there, who's running amok for older boys or who's running amok for their bosses, yeah? Salim Taba was the type who was front line for the BFL boys, so Bass Hemsey's boys, yeah? But he wasn't BFL. So whenever the boys would send a message to Salim, hey, I need this guy to get got, Salim would attack. If Salim went somewhere and he knew this guy had an issue with me, he would attack. Like, he's not the type of person that has to be told. This is the same relationship that I have with my brother 212 Heat, and also my younger brother, Skivvy. You don't have to ask us to do something. Like, as soon as we know, it's on. But with Salim, the difference between us and Salim is like me and my brothers, we're together and we love each other dearly, and also everything we do, it's all or nothing. This is what's us growing up together. But with Salim, his thing was if anyone touches the Muslim boys, it's on. And because Bass is very influential with his words, he had Salim attacking guys for his gang, and Salim's not BFL, but he did it for the love of Allah. He didn't care. It's his Muslim brothers. He wasn't doing it for the gang. He was doing it for the love of his religion. And so everywhere Salim went, he kept attacking. And then the Muslim boys started realizing, what? Salim's a soldier. They started giving him a big head. Right? Salim would do anything for the Muslims. Salim would freaking stand on the front line when there's drama. All good. Like when we are in the jail with Salim's the person that we call to be our frontline soldier. So pretty much all the youngsters and the older generation boys would always call upon Salim when a situation occurred. Now I'm going to give you another example of what happened with Salim. At Long Bay Prison, one of the Muslim younger boys told him that when the officers were searching his cell, they kicked his Quran. He tells Salim turns around, to the officer, and didn't even realize the officer didn't kick the Quran. Like, this guy was upset that he had lost drugs or whatever he had hidden away. So he went and told this lie to Salim because he wanted Salim to back him up. Salim's gone in and did what he needed to do for the Muslim brothers, but nothing even happened. The officer didn't kick the Quran. One thing that I know I seen throughout my whole jail time is the respect from officers when it comes to religious stuff. So, for example, the Quran, when the Muslim boys get searched, they grab one thing, is their Quran, and it's wrapped up. All they have to do is show the officers that there's nothing in there, all good, and then they can take the Quran, and then they'll turn your cell upside down. With me, I always used to walk out with my Bible and my Book of Mormon because I didn't want them ruining because when they search, I'm telling you, they full that and they'll rip it, yeah? But so I always grab my Bible and my Book of Mormon to make sure that they don't do this to my books. And the same thing, they were always respectful towards me as well. So Salim should have known that, but obviously he's got so much love for his Muslim brothers that he'll just attack on sight. He doesn't care, yeah? Then one of the trumps for the Kuru boys at Lithgow at the time in 2012, his name was Jared. Phil Jared, yeah? This guy ran amok throughout his whole time. He was known for having people and going on with it, just like Salem Taba. Situation occurred at Lithgow prison, and who was the one that went in and made the move? Salem Taba. Snuck his way into the pod, went over, did what needed to be done, and Phil Jared, he couldn't defend himself because he was in the middle of painting, you know, so he did what he needed to do, and then he left. But listen to this. To all you youngsters out there, I know you are all sitting there right now looking at me saying, far out, that's me. Yeah, this is you. This is what you're doing for your older boys, and this is what you're doing for your bosses, yeah? Salem Taba, after he did what he had to do to Phil Jared, he walked out of the gate. So the officers didn't actually catch him in the act, and they didn't actually catch him at the gate because he did what he did, and then he quickly walked out. And now the boys who was there at the time, we were all there, but he walked out, and I'm going to explain this thoroughly to you guys. He walked over to a gate, and one of the older boys that he was close with was there, yeah? He had nothing to do with nothing, but obviously he's another one of the guys that used to order Salem around, yeah? Salem gave him his Ivshay, and obviously he had just finished going to town on Phil Jared. And he gave it to him as in a way of like, here, can you get it away from me? The officers are coming. I could get caught with it. He put his hand through the fence to give it to him. And the older guy said to him, bro, get out of here. And I remember asking Salem, like, bro, what happened that day? Because I seen it, but I didn't know what happened. And then I don't know whether he threw it or whatnot, but I saw that actual confrontation between him and one of the older boys, yeah, where he went to put it through the bar to hand it over, and the older guy goes, bro, get it out of here. He says something along those lines, yeah. Then Salem walked off, and you could see Salem was upset. And I was a bit shocked because I was like, hang on a sec, this is the guy that always has his arm around Salem, always asking Salem, pull up the younger boys, always asking Salem, make sure you stand at the front line as a frontline soldier when she breaks out. And so I was shocked when that happened, but I didn't actually know what happened. So when I ended up being 2 out with Salem years later, I brought it up. And I said, bro, what happened with you and that older guy that day at the fence? And he goes, well, what happened? And I said, I seen you try to give him the thing, but I didn't know what happened, but it looked like you were upset. And then this is how much of a gentleman Salem is. He didn't want to talk about it, yeah? But when we got closer, a year later, he actually sat me down and he wanted to tell me the story, only because he was about to give his life to Allah. And for those of you who are non-Muslim, when someone gives their life to Allah, to God, they change their life completely, yeah? And that's what Salem was about to do. He had already told Bas Hemsi, my love for you is because you're a Muslim brother, but I am no longer gonna get involved in any of the gang stuff anymore. So please don't take it to heart if I don't attack anyone anymore for you. Like, I just want to do my time and do the religious thing. And he didn't even say like, I just want to go home to my family. It's not about that for Salem. Salem's thing is him and Allah. That's it. That's all Salem is about. He doesn't care about anything else. Not about going home. This is the difference between Salem and all the other boys, you know? When he puts his heart and mind into something, he puts it all in there. You know, so he'd already told Bas, and Bas said, yeah, all good, wallah, yeah. He goes, I won't ask you to do anything else. And he gave him that respect, yeah? But when he was finally ready to open up to me, this is when I was shocked, because I remember I didn't know the situation. And then he sat me down, explained what happened, and I said, yeah, I remember the day that you went at Phil Jared. And then he explained, he goes, yeah, so other guys that were involved were the ones that were like G'ing it up, you know, and telling me like, I appreciate you, thank you, Ali, the real appreciate you. And he goes, when I went over to give it to them, I was trying to get them to get it out of my hand, because the screws and squad were all running down, and obviously it's a charge in jail. If you get got, doing that, it's a charge, and you could get extra time on your sentence. Yeah. So he explained to me that the older guy turned around to him and said to him, "Get out of here, bro. Like, get that away from me." And then Salem was explaining to me how heartbroken he was because he considered that guy an older brother. And for Salem, it's not about, I did this for you, so you should do that for me. for someone that was so young, he actually, had a grown up mind, he wasn't about petty shit. Like, this guy was, very, very mature for his age, And so when he explained it, he goes, "Look, I don't hold a grudge. It's all good." He goes, "Me, I'm all about my Muslim brotherhood, and about Allah." And when he didn't want to take it, I was a bit shocked. I was a bit brokenhearted, but I just copped it on the chin. And it was on that day that I decided, you know what? Stuff all this gang rubbish. I'm going to give my life to Allah. And that was it. Salem ended up not getting involved anymore in any of the gang stuff and whatnot, yeah? And this is where the story gets more interesting. We now bump into each other at Supermax, 2014. We're in Supermax together. Now he's older. We were together in 2012, and then we didn't see each other for 2 years. And then I bumped into him in 2014 at Supermax. The Muslim boys inside Supermax were upset because of a lot of things. The food, no phone calls, and there was this thing called levels. So, for example, if I want to have a radio, I have to be good for a month. If I want to have a TV, I have to be good for 2 months. And you only get one phone call when you get into Supermax. So, to all you youngsters out there, check this. It's one phone call, you have to be good. And then you don't get 2 phone calls a week when you be good for 3 months. Yeah. This was the rubbish that was going on back then. Like, now, Supermax has calmed down a little bit, but this is what we were putting up with back then. And so the Muslim boys, they wanted to do a hunger strike. Bro, I'm an islander, but I don't do hunger strikes, So when this talk started happening in Supermax, they're going to do a hunger strike, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm happy to back these boys all the way, but man, I'm an islander. I'm not doing a freaking hunger strike, So I yelled out to the Muslim boys, I go, look, I'm the only islander here on this side. And I said, I'm happy to back you guys all the way. I said, but I'll go and attack the officers, and I'll go on with it, and you guys do your hunger strike. That way, it still looks like we're sticking together, with the hope that we're going to get more phone calls and they're going to make our time a little bit more easier. With Supermax, it's so stupid. Like, they don't realize when you get sentenced, your time you're doing in jail, that's your punishment, Like, if you make a mistake while you're in prison, yeah, fair enough. Take a little bit of the privileges, but in Supermax, they take all your freaking privileges, and then they make you sit there like a kindergarten kid and behave in order for you to get what you want. Right? That's why I always told you guys, anyone on social media, that's talking about Supermax, STG, Serious Threat Group, IVO, Individual Violent Offender, these are the 3 things that's pretty heavy inside prison when it comes to the boys that go on with it, yeah? And anyone who talks about these 3 things, don't even think anything of it, because it's kindergarten. Real prison gangsters were in the main, all right? I was in STG, was in IVO, and I was in Supermax, yeah? And pretty much it was like kindergarten, yes, please, thank you. It was so annoying that you wonder why all the boys used to go off. So all the boys that were at STG program at Lithgow at the time, they ran amok. They pretty much turned the whole jail upside down, smashed everything. They were uncontrollable. that they ended up shutting down STG. This is how pathetic the prison system is. Like, they didn't understand. You weren't trying to help the inmates, you know. You were too busy treating them like kindergarten kids that they thought to themselves, you know what? You're gonna treat me like a kid, I'm gonna act like a kid, and that's what they did. They smashed the whole friggin' STG units up, and they shut it down because of all these boys. And then there was no more STG; it got moved to Supermax. So anyone who talks about these three things, yeah, the most ruthless go into these programs and into Supermax, and also the ones that gang leaders and whatnot. But it's not hectic. It's friggin' kindergarten. Hey, the amount of times I've seen boys in Supermax go off, and it was because they were getting treated like kindergarten kids, you know? So, like I said, in the main, that's where it's at. You stay in the main, be a gangster. That's where you know that you're about it if you can survive the main, you know? And I'm not talking about surviving it as in like doing your time peacefully. I'm talking about surviving it when you're in and amongst everything and you're able to walk out of prison without a mark on your face. So Salem, Taba, and all the Muslim boys, they now are ready to do their hunger strike. I yelled out, boys, I will go on with it. You guys do what you got to do. The Muslim boys sent a message back to me and said to me, look, brother, we appreciate your offer, but please, we don't want to be violent towards the officers. We want to do a hunger strike. And I said to them, what is a hunger strike going to do? Okay, it might work in the main because you've got all the inmates there who will stick together, and there's big amount of numbers, like 500 inmates. I'll give you do it in Supermax. So for those of you who don't know, Supermax only holds 54 people. That's how much it holds back then when I was there. And at the time, there was only 32 of us. So these 32 guys that were in Supermax were considered high profile and dangerous. Ivan Malat, friggin' Bas Hemsey, Mick Kanan, like these are all the big massive names that were in there, you know, Waza Alistad, Emad Sleeman. I could go on and on and on with the most dangerous guys that were in there. But when they said to me that they didn't want to be violent, they wanted to do a hunger strike, I was like, boys, straight out, I'm not doing it. I go, you do what you've got to do with your hunger strike. I'm just going to sit here and relax, but I'm not going to get involved unless it's violent, you know, because that's what I do. I'm violent. So they said, all right, sweet, we appreciate you, Pete. We're going to do what we're going to do. I thought these guys were going to do half-hearted hunger strike, yeah? They actually went on with it. I give it to the Muslim boys. Every single one of them refused the jail food, and every single one of them refused to eat their bites. All they did was drink water. That was it. But they didn't eat no food at all. And the prison started getting worried because if they don't eat, they're gonna start getting sick. And if they start getting sick, the commissioner, who is the boss of all prisons, is going to ask the questions. And if the commissioner finds out about it, the media is going to find out about it. If the media is going to find out about it, the community is going to find out about it. And when the community finds out about it, bro, that's it. It's over. Goulburn is about one thing. They do not want their prison to be shut down. So obviously they went around and started telling the Muslim boys, you have to eat, you have to eat. And they were trying to force them to eat. All the boys refused to eat, yeah? And then the boys started collapsing. And I was there when 3 of the boys collapsed, yeah, from not eating. I don't remember. I think it was like 2 weeks. So the boys started dropping about a week and a half into the hunger strike. And they were going to hospital one by one, yeah. I was in Unit 7 at the time. So you got Unit 8 and 9 boys who were coming to segregation where I was for Supermax. And then they were getting taken to hospital. And they were trying to force them to eat, but they were still refusing. One by one, all the Muslim boys ended up eating because, like, it was too long. Like, the guys, they had to freaking eat. Otherwise, they were gonskis, you know? And guess who the only one was that just kept going until they said, all right, let's sit down and let's negotiate to get you guys what you want. That person was Salem Taba. He was like musty when I got there, yeah. And for his, I don't know if it was over 2 weeks, but he went for a long time, with his hunger strike. And mate, he was like a stick. Telling you, this guy, he's a very committed young man, you know. Like I said to you guys, when he puts his mind to something, he goes all in. He's never ever half-hearted, yeah. And I remember seeing him from my cell when he walked past, and he was like, just like taking step at a time, yeah. And I looked and I was like, what the hell is that, Salem? And it didn't even look like him, you know, because I just seen him a couple of weeks before and he was buff. Now all of a sudden he was like a stick. Like, he could have died, but luckily, I think they gave him that drip to keep his fluids up and that. And then obviously he ended up in hospital and it came to. But listen to this. After all this situation, they negotiated and said that they were going to give the Muslim boys, not just the Muslim boys, but all the boys in Supermax, an extra phone call, yeah? So this is how it works inside prison. We can never get rubbish off the official visitor. We can never get rubbish off the ombudsman. Every time we write to the commissioner to ask for help, right? They don't care. They just write to the prison and they tell the governor and whoever else is running it what's going on there. I'm getting letters about issues in Supermax, and then they just lie and lie and lie, and we end up sitting there for 6 months and we don't even get anything that we asked for, even though they promised they were going to do it. Yeah. So situation occurred afterwards where Salem Taba was sick of it. He was like, bro, we just did a hunger strike. We negotiated with them and they said, yes, this is what you are going to get. And then they reneged on it and they just went on with their same old routine. Now remember, Salem is now skinny, yeah? He's known for attacking officers. What did he do? He attacked officers. Hey, not only did they jump all over him while he was weak and when he was skinny, like one officer could have just grabbed him, yeah? Because the squad, they're big boys, you know, and these guys are not to be played with. They could have just grabbed Salem and handcuffed him and left it at that. But guess what they did? They grabbed him, threw him on the ground, slammed him, gave him a few in the ribs, gave him a few elbows in the back of the head. Then they stripped him down. All right. Now, this is where the illegal part comes in. Yeah. They put Salem on a wheelchair and they handcuffed him to it naked and they left him there overnight with that. Now, the screws can sit there all they want and say that's a liar, mate. Don't talk rubbish. I know everything that happened, including at Kempsey prison when the squad did this also to Junior Takatuki. All right, they bashed him, and his mint card would be proof, yeah, because he got a photo taken at Lithgow prison when he turned up, and his face was munted, black eye, bruised up, everything. This is how hard the officers at Kempsey bashed Junior Takatuki. All right. When he got there, his face was freaking inside out, and then obviously Junior runs amok. And this is what I didn't understand. All right, if I was a squad or if I was an officer and I had an inmate who was annoying and another inmate who keeps running amok and attacking officers, I know that I have the power, and I know I can take down these fools anytime I want because I've got the gas and I've got the manpower, and I've also got the gas and the capsicum sprays, you know. So if I know I have all this, oh, you can go off all you want. You can attack my officers all you want. But just remember, I'm going to turn you upside down and then you're going to be taken to your cell. But they don't see it like that. You know what their thing is? Their thing is all the stuff that they see on movies, these screws, they try to redo it, yeah, in prison. So what happens is, when boys are doing what they got to do, they attack the boys, and what's his name? There was an incident where I remember clearly. Cube Tapahima, he was handcuffed like this, yeah, and the officer ran up from behind and kicked him in the side of the head, and his whole head busted open because the officer, like, obviously he's got boots on, yeah, and full split him in half. And this is the same thing with Salim. When he was in his freaking wheelchair, handcuffed, and he was full naked, right? Not only was the brother embarrassed, but he thought that it was just going to be for half an hour. But apparently, from what Salim told me, it was an all-nighter. And yeah, fair enough if it was just Salim that this happened to, and it's only his words. But hey, everyone in Supermax saw this happen. And it wasn't just Salim this happened to. This has happened time and time again. And hey, take me to court and sue me for freaking defamation or for talking shit. And I promise you, I will get 500 inmates that will friggin' turn up and back me up, saying that all the friggin' shit you friggin' did to the boys inside prison. And I promise you, we will shut down every prison one at a time until there is a prison that is good enough to handle the inmates. Mate, you're an Indian, you've got all the power, yet you still friggin' do corrupt shit, alright? We're talking about corruption. Let's go to friggin' Lithgow prison. An officer, governor named O'Shea, alright? This cunt, he's been all over the news for his corrupt acts, alright? And remember, for those of you who don't know this, a governor is someone that runs the prison, yeah? It was me, it was John Tafahima, Borgie, Aussie boy, Booth, Razak, and Blackie. He was the one that had the issues with the Darwiches at the petrol station. So we were all in the line, and we had all been treated like rubbish for about 2 months, yeah? And everyone was stressing out, and then we all made a plan. We said, listen, we are going to refuse to go in our cells, because this is our cell here, yeah? And then we got a little yard at the front. So when we're in our little yard at the front, they tell us at the end of the day, all right, everyone get into their cell. Everyone will go in their cell, and then they'll come in, handcuff us to the front, and then they'll lock our back door. That's how it works. We all refused to get locked in our cell. Turn it down. So we all refused to get locked in our cell, and we all made a plan that we wouldn't get locked into our cell until Governor O'Shea comes down and sees us. The squad all come down. As soon as the squad all come down, they come down with their big gas guns and their masks and their suits, and they start walking. And this is the same routine that happens at every jail. Obviously, these guys are trained for it, yeah? You have 1 minute to go into your cell. If you do not get into your cell, force will be used. And everybody heard that. Oh, and another guy that was there was a Koori guy named Corey Broth. He's a little machine too. So when they're going off, I stepped forward, you know, and because when they lined up in front of Corey Broth's cell first. And Corey Broth is a skinny Koori brother that goes on with it. And I thought to myself, why are you lining up in front of the smallest bloke's cell? So I said, hey boys. And then all the squad looked at me, and I said, leave the little bloke alone and come into my cell and come at me first. And they're like, vaiusu, we will be there in a minute. He goes, but right now we're going to start with Broth. And I said, hang on a sec. Okay, you're going to go in there and attack young Corey, yeah? And I said, all we are doing is a peaceful protest. We don't want to fight you. We don't want any dramas. All we want is to see the governor. We've been treated like shit for 2 months now. And we've asked time and time again to get what we want, which is nothing out of the ordinary. We weren't getting our lunches, barely getting our dinners. We weren't getting cutlery to eat. So pretty much say this is the side of the cardboard that holds the food, yeah? Like that. So we were putting our cardboard like this, and we were using this as a spoon, yeah? And guess what? This is a prison that's funded by the government. We can't even freaking get cutlery. We're using the freaking lid to feed ourselves. And you wonder why we were freaking going off. And so when I had said it politely to the officers that we wanted to see the governor, we didn't want no trouble, the squad at the time turned to me and said to me, look, honestly, vaiusu, we don't want no trouble with you guys. He goes, but I'm going to be honest with you. Mr. O'Shea doesn't want to come down and see you. and he ordered us to force you guys in. And I was like, whoa, I've been to so many prisons, yeah, but I've never had been to a prison where the squad actually told us what was happening. Usually, if a governor said something like that to the squad will keep their mouth shut and just do as they're told, follow orders. But I knew that the squad that was there at Lithgow prison didn't really like Mr. O'Shea, yeah? Just from the way, appreciate you guys, just from the way that he was, oh, shucks. Hey, what I got to do here? It's a puzzle thing. Hang on, guys, I just got to do this puzzle. Alright, it's all triggz and it's all love and respect. You know? So, tap it up, guys, tap it up. Let's go, tap it up. So, we're all lined up there, and they've now told us what's going on, and now we all have to fight the squad, every single one of us. And remember, this is not group versus group. We're all in one cell. So for those of you who don't know, in segregation, you're only allowed to be in a 1 hour cell. Obviously because you're known for being a troublemaker, and if they have to come and get you, at least they don't have to deal with two of you. There's only one of you. So we got all our cells lined up, and we were all ready to go. I put a towel around my arm, yeah. This was my way of blocking a baton if the baton comes, and then I'll attack and do what needs to be done. Some of the boys who were new to prison didn't really know the go. For example, Borgie, he's not new to prison, but he had never been involved in this type of drama in prison. This was his first time, you know, so he was like, asking, bro, what do I do? And I told him straight, I go, bro, as soon as they come in, they're going to come with the shield. As soon as they walk towards you, just start, you know, don't hold back. And he goes, oh, what do I do? Do I tackle him, or do I jump in the air and throw punches? And I said, bro, just run at them. All I'm going to say to you is just run at them and do your best. That's all you can do. And he goes, yeah, sweet. And he's an Aussie boy, yeah? And then Blackie, he's the one that had the issues with the Darwich family. He yelled out to me and he said to me, Pete, he goes, I've never been involved in something like this. And I told him, I go, bro, grab your stuff and go into your cell. Don't get involved. And he was like, no. He goes, bro, I can't leave you boys with it. Like, mate, we're all suffering inside Segro. He goes, man, I'm staying out. I'm not going in. I go, brother, I said, I don't want you to freaking get in trouble. Like, Blackie at the time, they were leaving him they had left him in Segro for about 2 years. And it was because of the issues with the Darwich family. So they didn't know what jail to put Blackie at. Obviously because he's the one that done that to the Darwich, family, and they didn't want to put him somewhere and then he gets attacked. So they left him in segregation. He had been in there for 2 years, I'm pretty sure. And so when he yelled out to me, I said the same thing to him. I go, bro, like if you're gonna stay out here, then grab all your stuff, take it in your cell, put your mattress up so nothing gets sprayed with the gas. Because once your sheet gets covered in gas, they'll chuck it in the rubbish. And I said, and then get ready. As soon as they come in, they're going to have their shield up. There's going to be 5 or 6 of them from standing in behind. They're going to come in like in a line. As soon as they come in, I said, just put your legs down and then just jump at them, attack. I'll go hit them with the shoulder, hit the shield with the shoulder, and just go as hard as you can, you know. And he was saying to me, yeah, sweet. All right, that's what I'm going to do as soon as they come in. While I'm standing there, the head squad said, all right, guys, time's over. Mr. Broth. Now they're facing young Kuri boy, not young, but Corey Broth, yeah? And they said to him, Mr. Broth, you have 1 minute to get into your cell. If you do not get into your cell, force will be used. And then he stood there and he started looking at his time. As soon as the countdown came down, they said, are you going to go into your cell? And Corey straight away was like, F you. As soon as he said that, poof, poof, they shot him with the gas. And he went down. Sorry, they didn't shoot him with it. So this gas, it's like one like this. And when you spray it, it's like a gun, yeah? When you spray it, it goes straight at you. They sprayed it at him, and I could hear him go, coughing and carrying on. And because he wouldn't go down, that's when they shot. Yeah, and then I could hear him coughing. And once the gas hits one cell, everyone else can start smelling it. I was getting myself ready because I knew like I was next. And as soon as the squad opened up Corey Broff's cell, boom, all of them went straight in, yeah? And they went in. The front one had the shield. As they went in, something happened. And I was like, bro, what's going on? And then after this issue, I asked Corey what happened, yeah? And because I seen one of the officers holding his head, Corey Broff explained to me that when the squad come running into his cell with the shield up, he had a mop bucket that he had hidden, yeah? And he threw the mop bucket. It hit the shield, and like that they had like this. It hit the shield, flipped up in the air, past the first screw, past the second screw, and the third screw. It cracked him, boom, straight in the head. And yeah, wrong move to Corey because as soon as they got him on the ground, they beat the hell out of him. Yeah, I saw Corey the next day and he had a big black eye, you know. And Corey will always be Corey. He's a little soldier. I go, bro, you alright, cuz? He goes, yeah, I'm good. And he had the biggest smile on his face, but he also had a black eye, you know. Now, after they finished with Corey, I yelled out to them again. I go, open my gate, chief. Open my gate. Come in here. And I was like, bridging up, yeah. And they walked straight past me, and they went to the Aussie guy next door to me, who was Borgie. Yeah? And remember, Borgie's never been involved in anything like this, yeah. And it was so funny. As soon as they told him, you have 1 minute to get into your cell, or force will be used, he started like going off. F this, F you, come on, let's go, bro. Bro, I was thinking to myself, I think this guy's trying to hype himself up. As soon as he got hit with the gas, he started coughing. Boom, the gate opened, they rushed in, and all I heard was that. And I could tell that he was like struggling with them, yeah? As he was struggling with them, they got him on the ground. They were like, stay on the ground, keep your mouth shut. Handcuffed him, took him to his cell, locked his cell. Third person, I was sitting there, same thing. I was like, chief, he's ready to go, like that. They just walked straight past me. The third person that they went to was Booth, Razak. He was all the way down in the intel. And I'll never forget it. He was also one that was going off. But I didn't realize, that Booth, I think he had like some issues with his lungs, like maybe asthma or something. I don't really know what it was. But as soon as he got hit with the gas, he was coughing like there was no tomorrow. Like he was coughing and choking at the same time. But while he was coughing and choking, he was swearing, like, "How are your dogs? How about your dogs?" As soon as the gates got open, boom, the line went in, and I could hear like that. And they got him down, but easily, but only because the guy couldn't breathe properly, you know. And for those of you who have never felt capsicum spray, what they hit us with inside prison is 10 times worse, yeah. And these things are called canisters. The ones that I told you, it's like fire extinguisher, and they spray it at you. So some of them come out, some of them come straight at you. And then if they can't, if you are the type that can handle the canisters, then they'll bring out the guns and they'll shoot the gas at you. So after but a booth went down, boom, they went over to Blackie. Remember, again, Blackie, he's never been in this type of situation. He asked me what do I do, and I explained to him, just attack. Same thing, he was going off, door cracks open, the line went in, poof, shields are up, and all I heard was, it was probably the loudest crack that I heard. It just went crack. And as soon as the noise went, I was listening like that, and it was just like, and I was like, what's going on? What's going on? Like, stay down, buddy, stay down. What's going on? And all I could hear was him saying, get off me, your dogs, get off me, your dogs. I was thinking, bro, what happened? Is he fighting? Was he struggling? I didn't know what was going on, yeah? Same thing. The next day, when we were having a laugh about it, I got him, bro, what happened to you yesterday? I heard 2 big noises. And he goes, Pete, you know, I told you, bro, I've never been involved in this. So what happened is, when they came in, Blackie ran straight at them and he threw his shoulder at him and he full tackled him. But when he tackled, he tried to lift them up. And because there's 5 of them, well, there were 6 of them there, but 5 of them was the ones that went into the cell, and 1 was holding the camera because they always got to film everything that happens. And he goes, because he tried to lift the guy up that had the shield, the 4 behind him leaned forward. And so when he hit them, he fell flat on his stomach, and then they all fell flat on him. So that's pretty much, it didn't even, there wasn't no struggle, there was no fight, because the brother, when he hit them, they just fell on top of him, and then that's when they grabbed his hands and handcuffed him. And then when we were talking the next day, he was saying to me, he goes to me, bro, next time this happens, he goes, at least I know now I got to hit and jump back. But I don't know what the hell I was thinking trying to lift them up, because they just leaned forward and I fell flat on my face. Now Blackie's gone, and there's 2 of us left. It's John Tafahima and me. I'm standing there. They walked straight past me, and then they went to John Tafahima. Same thing. And this is the funniest thing that I think, one of the funniest things that I came across in prison, yeah? Because John Tafahima, his nickname is Cube. So Cube was standing there, and all I heard was, I thought the officers were going to say, you have 1 minute to get into your cell. But they didn't say that. They're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I was thinking, bro, what's going on? They're not saying what they were saying to everyone else. They're saying, what are you doing? I was thinking, what's he doing, this bloke? I found out the next day, when the squad come to his cell and lined up to get ready to attack him, he was sitting there smoking drugs. And they were telling him, what are you doing? And he was just smoking his drugs in front of them. And he was like, wait. And they're like, put that down now. And he just kept smoking. He did not care, yeah? And then when they were saying to him, you have 1 minute to get into your cell. If you do not get into your cell, you were going to be forced into your cell. He just kept smoking. Well, as soon as they cracked the gate open, Cube chucked his drugs to the side and he shaped up. The line went in, woof, and then Cube went straight at them. And I could hear like a big ruckus, and you could tell that he was going on with it, yeah? And went on for probably about a good 20 seconds. Like, you could hear the walls, one side to the other side. And then finally, I knew from what I heard is when they crash tackled him to the ground and they handcuffed him. But what I didn't know at the time was when he got kicked in the head. Same thing. The next day when we were all having a laugh about it, he went to use the phone box. And when I walked out, he had a patch on his head. And I was like, hey, Shana, what happened to your head? He goes, bro, these dogs, he goes, they handcuffed me. They got me on the ground. It was all good. He goes, and then the other one ran over and he kicked me straight in the head, you know? And I said, seriously? He goes, yeah, bro, you freaking kicked me while I was handcuffed. I was like, wow. Anyway, last but not least, me. All right. I was in there and I was waiting. I didn't realize at the time because I thought they were coming straight for me. I ripped off my shirt. I had my towel around my arm. I was ready to go. And I was standing there waiting. But when they walked past me, they kept walking. And then I looked around and I was like, oh. I yelled out to all the other boys, but all the other boys had been locked into their cell already, yeah? And I said to the boys, hey, he's all inside. And they're like, yeah, you stood outside? Okay, yeah. I said, I don't know what happened. They walked straight past me. So I thought, oh, all right, then they're probably going to get a breather and then they're coming back to get me, you know? I didn't realize at the time until one of the officers explained it, yeah? A couple of days later, you know how I told you guys they had that canister and they were gassing all the boys to get them on the ground and to secure them to put them back into their cell? What happened is they ran out of gas. So all the canisters this is a prison, yeah? And they used all of it on all the boys that they had taken down. And so when it came to me, there was none left. So they weren't going for just a rest. They were also going to wait to get more canisters. And they didn't come back, I think, for another half an hour. So I was sitting in my cell for half an hour. All right, guys. I'm going to finish this story up because I'm the last guy. So I need you guys to tap it up. Get these friggin' likes up. And I'm going to friggin' tell these stories exactly how it happens. And like I always tell you guys, this is not for entertainment. I'm literally telling you guys this story with the hope that the younger generation learns from it. When I laugh, it's just because to me, far out, I can't believe I put myself through all that rubbish. I could have been at home eating my mum's food, but instead I was in there getting gassed, trying to get a friggin' meal. That's what was happening. We weren't getting lunch and we weren't getting dinner. And Mr. O'Shea, his piece of shit, he didn't want to come down and talk to us peacefully. He told his squad, I want you all to force them into their friggin' cells. So there was no peace talk. All right, guys, let's go. Tap it up. Last but not least, moi. So I'm standing there, and then they come back. They come back really calmly, and they're holding their shield. And the officer yells out, "Look, Pete, we don't want no trouble with you. So we're going to give you 1 minute to go into your cell. And if you don't go into your cell, we're going to have to use force." And I think it was like a mutual respect, because to all the other boys, they were yelling at them, yeah. But when they came to me, like he pretty much said it like respectfully. But I think it was like, to me, now that I'm older and wiser, to me it was like those squad boys who came to force us all into our cells. They knew that they were doing the wrong thing, but they had to follow orders because they didn't want to lose their job. They got families to feed, And this O'Shea, the corrupt dog, was the one who forced these guys to come and do what they did to us, Long story short, I've been given my directions to get in the bloody cell. I refuse. So, boom, they start spraying me with the gas. I'm standing there. And remember, guys, like for those of you who haven't been following my lives, I'm pretty good with gas because I've been gassed so much. I'm pretty much immune to a lot of the gas, Now they've got different types of gas. They're spraying me. I'm standing there just copping it. And then I start feeling it at the bottom of my throat. I walk into my cell and the screws thought that I was going into myself that I gave up. But I still had my tail around my arm. It was on my left arm. So it's about blocking and attacking. That's what I always do every time I get into an issue with the officers. I walk into my cell. I grab a cup of water. I drink it and I start gargling it because I could feel my throat start heating up from the gas that they were spraying at me. I spat it out and then I came back out and I go, "Let's go, boys. Let's go." They realized that the gas wasn't doing anything. So they put up their gun. Bah! Come in. Gas was everywhere. Bah! Boom. Gas was everywhere. I was just looking around and now my eyes started stinging. And I was like, far out. Now I can't even see. And I don't know if you guys know about gas, but once it hits your skin, it starts burning, yeah? So now my eyes are effed up, I can't see, and my skin is starting to burn. As soon as I heard the gate crack open, boom, they all come running in. All 5 of them come running in. One that's outside with the camera. I ran straight at them and I hit. But because I've been in this situation a million times, I actually knew what to do. So as soon as I hit the shield, I came out of it. I grabbed the shield and I pulled it forward. So I came forward, he come forward like that. And when he come forward, he fell backwards, yeah? And now I've got 4. So now I've got 4 in front of me, 1 behind me because I pulled him behind me. Bang, I start going at him, but I'm not throwing punches. My thing is, every time I have issues with the officers, I don't ever throw punches at them. I have in the past, obviously, but I try to steer away from throwing punches at them and attacking them as violent as possible because, like, at the end of the day, these guys are not only just doing their job, but they're just telling me to do one simple thing: get in your cell. All I have to do is go in my cell and I won't be touched. So I'm the idiot that's getting myself involved in this situation, yeah? What happened was I grabbed 3 of them that were in front of me and I started pushing them and I was like throwing them and grabbing them, throwing them, grabbing them. They were all one had my arm, one had like my whole shoulder, and the one that I threw behind me, he grabbed my leg. As he grabbed my leg, let's say this is the cell, yeah, like half my body was already outside the gate. So, and all 5 officers were trying to pull me in the gate, and I was halfway out the gate, and my goal was to get out the gate. I just wanted to get out the gate and then just run amok, run around and just like have a laugh with the boys. I made it out. I made it out. I almost got out the gate. And then, the officer that had the camera who was filming it, he put his camera down and he helped them. And then that's how they ended up tackling me into the cell, and they got me on the ground. But the thing that I effed up on was the officer that was behind me. He had grabbed my leg, and when I pulled my leg out, I kicked him in the chest. Yeah. When I was trying to struggle with the guys in the front to get out of the cell, he grabbed my leg again. But this time when he grabbed my leg, he put it in the leg lock, and I didn't realize my leg was in the lock. I tried to pull my leg out, and when I tried to pull my leg out, my knee just went snap like this. And I felt a little snap, and I was like, what the hell was that? And I pulled it out, and then that's when the officer with the camera put his camera down. They all helped, got me on the ground. And then as they got me on the ground, they handcuffed me. And then I started having a laugh with him, saying, fire out, he's a rubbish chief. I go, Goldman squad got me on the ground quicker than you. And we had a bit of banter and a bit of laugh about it. They got me up, they put me in my cell, and then they were like, you're all right, you need to see the nurse. I said, I don't need to see the nurse, I'm all good. Yeah. And that was the end of it. All of us now were secure in our cells. All of us got asked if we wanted to see the nurse, and we all said no. Me not thinking anything of it, in the morning, I woke up, and when I got up to walk to the toilet, I went to step, and my whole knee gave way, and I fell on the ground. And when I fell on the ground, I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, I didn't realize that, when my knee snapped up that way, I had internal bruising. So I buzzed up, I asked to see the nurse. They took me to the nurse, and then I got put in front of a doctor, and the doctor ended up saying, look, you're all good. There's no issues. You just got a bit of internal bruising. So just make sure that you don't play any sports or anything else, because you don't want your ligaments to give way. Because once your ligaments give way, then that's it. You're going to be effed up until it's fixed. And inside prison, very, very rare to get your body parts fixed once you F it up. And so this whole story that I've just explained to you guys is a story that needed to be told, yeah, because it's all about corruption inside prison, influential inmates, and doing things that you don't want to do. So remember, throughout that whole story,